the newsroom with an update on the Manter Fire in the Sequoia National Forest. According to Fire Information Officer Dennis Intel, there has been no change since earlier this morning. Cooler temperatures are helping firefighting efforts. 1,119 firefighters are on the blaze that has covered 37,435 acres. Sintel reports that containment is still at 10%. Efforts to protect the Kennedy Meadows area have been effective, and only 2 outbuildings at a Boy Scout camp have been destroyed. Equipment fighting the blaze include 9 helicopters and 4 tankers. Cost to fight the fire at this time is estimated at $2.7 million. Stay tuned to the station throughout the day for updated information. Reporting from the newsroom, this is Ray Waters.
What you're looking at are just a few of the donated items that people have brought in for the fire. Good evening, I'm Ray Waters, and welcome to City Limits. As you all know by now, the Manter Fire in the Sequoia National Forest started July 22nd. Today is Saturday the 29th, and the fire is still continuing. You'll be seeing this later on down the line, so I'm not giving you really any updated news on the fire. What I do want to do, though, is to show you just how the people in our community have rallied in support of those that are either fighting the fire or have been displaced due to the mandatory evacuation at Kennedy Meadows. And I want to read some of the list of donors right now just to give you an idea of what our community can do. Jerry Crow over at Albertsons on North Norma has donated bottled water. Carl White, manager of Vaughn's, bottled water in cases of fresh oranges. Norma and Leroy at the Country Feed Barn, 100 cases of what they call MREs. These are ready-to-eat meals. Paul Wilkerson, Albertsons on South China Lake, water. Tammy and Pat from the AMPM Arco, bottled water. Ruth Phillips from Desert Comm Center has donated 48 cases of bottled water. And also, for those people that are displaced out there who need communication, she has donated some pagers as well, 10 pagers for the residents up there. And Tony from Ridgecrest, donations of various items to include Band-Aids. Scott Brown at the Carriage Inn has donated a 5-day stay for families that have lost their homes, which at this point nobody's lost their home right now, but they of course are under an evacuation order. Doug Luke at United Rentals, transportation, organization, a multitude of efforts. And I want to personally thank Doug Luke right now because he was in here, and what you've only seen is just a very small part of the things that have been donated. Doug has already loaded a lot in his truck and has taken it up there. And of course, United Rentals, I believe, provided some water trucks as well. Victoria Moore, who is manager of Heritage Inn and Suites, has offered a 7-day stay for victims. Shorty Schneider, transport of equipment and supplies. Arnold Bowen, Desert Empire Fairgrounds, transport of items. Mike Thomas, who's manager at Desert Empire Fairgrounds, and also is a resident of Kennedy Meadows. Well, he's a resident of Ridgecrest, but he and his wife have recently bought a home in Kennedy Meadows, has offered to corral some of the animals that were brought down. Janet at Kmart, water, and Stater Brothers has donated bottled water. Dottie Nelson, water and food. Michelle Leitner and Larry Maples, bags of groceries and anything they can help out with. And Sal, who's manager at Walmart, is donating trash cans for animals at the fairgrounds and are offering a 10% discount for needed items. H.K. Holland donated huge vats of water for animals at the fairgrounds. Carol Cannon of Pampered Pets called. She's donating pet grooming. And Jerry Brooks of RACES. Now, RACES is an acronym, and it has to do with Radio Amateur Emergency Services. They're offering communications of services and tie-in communications. The Blanco family water has been donated. Heather Weaver and family food. Now, again, I probably have, by the time you're seeing this, have left out a lot of names because there'll be still more donations coming in. The American Red Cross from Tulare came in and opened up temporary shelter at Monroe Middle School. That was closed as of yesterday because nobody did come down to utilize the shelter. We do have the hotels that are available offering the free rooms, plus the fact a lot of people live down here, and as the Lady American Red Cross says, this is a pretty hardy group. One of the problems with the fire, and I've mentioned this on radio before, is that there has been no burn history at all up in that area. So it's very, very hard to even make a guess as to what's going to happen, and of course with wind shifting and all else. So we've been very busy here at KLOA, KRAJ, and KEDD, and they've done a very, very good job here of requesting donations over the air, receiving donations, and making sure they're distributed where they're supposed to be. Just to give you an idea of a little bit of the devastation that's going on up there, we're going to take a ride up toward Kennedy Meadows. And we're heading up toward Kennedy Meadows now. We just crossed the Tulare County line at this, we're about at the summit of 9 Mile, and you can get a look and see just what the fire is. We talked to some Clovis Fire Department gentlemen down there at Pearsonville, and they said it does not look very good up at Kennedy Meadows, so we're going to see what happens when we get up there. We have a van load of water right now, and since we talked at the radio station, we've had a lot of people that have come in and donated water, non-perishable food supplies, clothing, and bedding. So again, I want to thank everybody in the town of Ridgecrest for helping these folks out. And also with us is Dave Johnson with High Desert News, and he's in the blue truck right in front of us. I don't know if you can see it on your television screen, folks, but we're now starting to get ashes. I'm sure there are going to be a lot more as we go on up there. And also taking a look at that red sun through the smoke.
Smell it too.
Yeah, as Mark said, you can smell it as well. And this is looking very, very. I'm trying to think of the word right now. Ominous, yes. Scary, actually. Okay, looks like we have some dozers that have been clearing away some of the brush, creating fire breaks. Dave Johnson is right ahead of us with highdesertnews.com. If you go onto his page, you can see some pretty good pictures that he did yesterday up at Kennedy Meadows. Okay, we're coming up to some fire crews. See if they want water.
Yeah.
Short one?
You want one?
Oh, warm one? Okay. Thank you.
You want water?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're up to Grumpy Bears right now, and we're pretty close to the staging area, and they're going to be backfiring behind us. So we're going to pull in and see about dumping some water. Fire appears to be all around us. We're here at Grumpy Bear. As a matter of fact, Dave Johnson is with me, highDesert.com. We were just talking, highdesertnews.com, pardon me. Ooh, look at that. Dave, over here, the fire, you can tell it's moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's coming along pretty good. It looks like the wind's coming out of the southwest, and firefighters are saying that it should come over the ridge here pretty quick. They may have to backfire.
Right, that's what we heard down there. I wonder how it's going to affect our area where we are right now.
Well, I think, Ray, that's one of the reasons they're going to go ahead and backfire is to protect the property that's just to the south, the Grumpy Bears here, and to the north of it. And it's probably a pretty good decision the way the wind's picking up right now. It seems like it's starting to pick up pretty good.
Yes, I can feel it right now. I'll tell you, Dave, it's pretty awesome. Very ominous looking coming up here. Scary is the word.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. It's not your typical adventure.
How is this compared to, now folks, this is Saturday the 29th. How does this compare to yesterday when you were here?
Yesterday they were firing to the west of, they did a backfire to the west of Grumpy Bears here to protect the property, but it appears like it's coming around from the south now. And yesterday the wind wasn't all that bad, but today it looks like the backfire may come in handy.
Kind of looks that way. It looks awfully close from here. Now I see a helicopter right there through it. Mark, if you can get a shot of that, I don't know how well you can see it, but it looked like it just did a turnaround, and it looks like it's going to make another drop. He's fairly low to it, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. These guys take a lot of chances out here with these winds and flying in the mountains and doing the job that they do, but they're doing a great job. Yesterday they did a terrific job in protecting the line of homes that are in the area.
I've heard from some of the residents that have homes up here, and that's all I have heard, basically, is the fantastic job that these firefighters are doing. And, of course, under the conditions that they are in, this is dangerous. I can feel it in my eyes right now, you know, smell it and all that, and it's not very pleasant. And these guys have to worry, and gals, by the way, several ladies that we gave water to on the way down there.
Yeah, you'll when you get through fighting a fire or just even being here, you're going to come out smelling like a campfire for sure. And a lot of these guys, you know, they put in 12-hour, 14-hour days, and some of them, you know, they traveled in from Oklahoma. They came here and they jumped right on the fire, no problem. They were real anxious to get after it.
And we were down in Pearsonville as well, stopping over there, and we saw about 4 or 5 fire trucks, some from Fresno, Clovis, which is 100 miles, I believe, north of here, something like that, across the mountain, I'm not sure. But I can tell you this is the first time I've ever covered a forest fire. Have you ever been in one of these before?
Yeah, I counted them up yesterday. I figured I've done between 15 and 20 of them. And this one is a little more scary because of the way the fire is traveling and the way the road goes. The road runs north and south, and of course the fire is traveling to the east because the wind's primarily out of the west. So it's a little scary, and you know, I guess if they light that backfire, there's always the possibility that the embers could get carried across the road and of course start a fire on the other side, which is going to generate problems for the property back up in Sacatar.
Exactly. Well, we're going to go and probably take the van over up here to back it up to Grumpy Bear and unload we got a lot of things to unload, water and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking to Chris Pfister. Chris, you're with the Fire Information Service.
Right. I'm a fire information officer with this Manter Fire.
Okay. We've been talking to some of them at KLOA Radio. Of course, it's not in this area, but over in the Kernville area, I guess. And sometimes difficult to get communication. I notice I don't even have cell service up here at all. What is happening today as compared to the other days?
Well, we were able to successfully do a firing operation yesterday. We basically burned the Kennedy Mountain, which is just in back of the Grumpy Bear restaurant facility here. So to sort of basically put some burned fuel or burned area in between the front of the fire and the community here. We knew we had an active eastern flank of the fire. That is what is currently burning today and is burned up Pine Creek Canyon. We went in there early today. I mean, we knew that that area was a threat. It's very steep. It's very difficult in terms of access. Very difficult for us to do anything in the way of actual direct firefighting. And so we tried to do some preventative activities in terms of brushing away from the homes there, putting foam on them as much as we could. They left that area probably about mid-afternoon as the fire activity increased, which was anticipated just due to, I mean, that's what it's been doing every day. And all the flame and smoke that were actually, the smoke and the activity we're seeing is from that.
Okay, and of course, we've had the winds, which I can feel a little breeze here, and then there's been the low humidity and the high temperatures, and as you mentioned, the inaccessible terrain. This all adds to a very unfavorable situation.
It has made the firefighting activity certainly more difficult. We can't, it's so hazardous, we can't get hand crews in there, and we've been doing most of our activities when we can with bulldozers. We have engines standing by in areas where we can. Obviously, we've got the helicopter dropping water. I'm not certain if we have a tanker available to us. Again, we've got to share with, we have active fire also on another flank of this same fire. So we have quite a bit of activity, so we're doing what we can. I mean, our goal obviously is to keep it out of this community.
Exactly, and from what I've heard from residents, talked to on the phone, and I've heard nothing but praise for the fire personnel up here. And also our community in Ridgecrest, and again, thanking the people in Ridgecrest, they've brought a lot of supplies over to the radio station, loads of water over there, so we've carried as much as we could up here.
We certainly appreciate the support that this community has given to us. They have been wonderful. I mean, this was a real difficult, anxious time for them. We had lost just a few buildings before, basically outbuildings. I'm not certain what time, there are houses in Pine Creek Canyon, unfortunately, and what their fate is, we obviously don't know at this point in time. But the community has been wonderful to us. We just only hope that we can do right by them, and we very much appreciate all the extra water that other folks are giving us. Thank you.
Great. Chris, what's the prognosis now?
We're going to keep our fingers crossed, and we've got engines out there where you've got obviously the helicopter dropping water. Let's just hope that the wind activity doesn't pick up. We're very much concerned about firefighter safety. We've already heard on the radio that there has been some spotting. Sounds like they're picking up some of it, but again, it just depends on what the wind brings and how fast it comes at us, what we can do.
And how about our firefighters? I knew there were some minor injuries.
The injuries have been minor. There have been 8 so far. Some of them actually were like some slight driving accidents, lacerations, things like that. On these small roads going back into the forest. A couple of minor burns. Fortunately, one is actually through someone's personal protective equipment. Just the heat of the fire was so intense. So we're crossing our fingers that we need to continue to be safe.
Okay, Chris Feister, thank you very much for talking with us. Road is closed right now because of the backfire, and we're going to be here for a little while. We're inside of Grumpy Bears, and with us right now is Dr. Lonergan, who's a resident up here. You've been up here how long, Doctor?
Almost 40 years.
40 years, and of course, obviously, nothing like this has ever happened before.
Oh, yes, it has.
It has, okay.
Oh, yeah, about 20 years ago, we had a fire come over from the east, come in here. But this is the biggest one in the last 10 years. Yeah.
Okay, well, it looks like the residents are pretty well holding together on this.
Oh, this is a very interesting community, and they always work together. We have to. We're so isolated. Yeah.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, it was only recently you got telephone service, as I understand.
A year ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that just in the general store, or do they all have them in their homes now?
No, we have telephone service right to the house. It's very interesting. All buried cable. It's fast stuff. You can use it for the internet, and it's quite nice. I thought that when we got that in, we'd have a lot more people up here, like happened in Idaho, but it hasn't happened yet.
All right. Well, Doctor, I've talked to members of the fire department and all, and of course they've got, gosh, over 1,100 people now working on the fire, which has covered over 36,000 acres, 37,000 acres, pardon me. And from what I've been told, their primary responsibility right now is here in the Kennedy Meadows area to protect the structures.
Yes, I just drove into my place and was surprised to find 2 trucks and about 14 guys and about 4 beautiful ladies wetting down the whole thing. And they obviously have everything under control. It was almost a real emotional thing to see somebody so interested in a little place. I don't know where they're from, but all of us are thankful.
Yes,
they want it all over. Every place has got a truck beside it.
That's right. As a matter of fact, when we were coming up the road here, we had a lot of water to bring up from the community because Ridgecrest, all the citizens came out and brought water to the radio station, and we had some of the water on ice as we were coming up here. We saw some firefighters just kind of laying out by the side of the road resting, and so we stopped and opened the door and opened it up, and they were right in line there and emptied our ice chest pretty quick.
That's a wonderful gesture. I understand they had 11 bags of ice for 600 fellows or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're getting more now, so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, doctor, prognosis is looks like it may be good for this area. We don't know.
Yes, it's going to have some advantages. This stuff has to burn off every few years anyway, so this doesn't happen. And then we're not another Idlewild where it's a real problem if they ever get a fire. So it has some positive things.
It does. As a matter of fact, wildfires have been going on for a long time. I mean, my gosh, you got the lightning. I guess that's nature's way of, what would you say, pulling the weeds out or clearing it up.
Yeah. Thousands of years.
I mean, millions of years.
I'm not too upset about it. Just part of what we face.
Right. Exactly.
And anybody who lives up here just takes that chance. I was going to say dumb, but then we all are dumb, I guess, to live up here.
Well, it is a beautiful area, and I've spent a lot of time up here. Doctor, thank you very much for talking with us. Well, obviously, the firefighters got to eat. Gentlemen, where are you all from?
We're from Mountain Home Conservation Center.
Mountain Home Conservation Center. Where is that?
Springville? Above Springville. Above Springville.
Okay, above. Well, obviously, the firefighters got to eat. So you're cooking for about how many that you know of?
I believe they said 600 this morning that we cooked for.
600. These guys are looking quite busy. Well, I'm going to let you get back to your work here. We've got to get these firefighters to eat so they can get enough energy and go fight those fires. We had planned originally to get a little bit close to the flames. However, I'm not going to do it. And we just finished unloading water between Dave's truck and our van with the help, as you saw a little while ago, of these young folks. Dave, we're in the staging area right now. Now, this is the brains, you might say, of the organization?
Yeah, it's its headquarters for the fire, for the Manter Fire.
Okay, and this was a campground, as I recall.
You know, I'm not real sure about that. I've never been up here before, but it looks like it might have been. But they've done a lot of clearing in preparation for the fire's approach. And on the other side of the road over here, back by this tent where the light's set up there, they've got a water tender running up and down, and they've dozed it off. And they're anticipating from the direction of the wind that probably what's going to happen if it does jump the road, that it's going to burn all the way up here too, to the camp.
To the camp, and then of course we may be delayed in getting back then, perhaps, but not that long, you don't think?
No, I'd probably guess probably about 2 hours. A lot of it's going to depend on how the backfire goes and whether or not they can stop it off to the sides. They got, of course, both sides they'll have to stop it from. And of course, if it jumps the road, then, we're going to have to get out of here probably because it's going to get pretty hot.
Sounds to me like we really can't be spending too much time up here at all, wouldn't you say?
It's probably a little late for that now.
It might be. Okay, well, we're going to see if we can get into the headquarters, I guess, and see if there's anybody that we can talk to.
Was your property threatened at this time that you know?
Well, it wasn't until the fire jumped the fire break.
Oh.
And then it went straight toward my road.
Uh-huh.
So it was pretty well.
How close did it come?
Oh, it hasn't jumped the road.
It hasn't jumped the road?
Just jumped the fire break.
They stopped it at the road.
Oh,
Just
okay.
about
So,
the road.
I'm on the other side of the road that way.
And how long have you lived here?
Since 1982.
Since 82? Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, but a friend was telling me about one in 1939 that happened in the same area.
Oh.
That was Bill Riffle. His folks were homesteaders up here, and he was living up here when it happened. So it's 1939 is the last one we've had like this.
Was it as big as this, do you know?
Yes, according to him, it was pretty good size. Well, of course, that was 2 or 3 days ago, too. So it's probably bigger now than what he had back then.
Probably thinking it's bigger now, that's for sure.
And how are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm hoping to get back in my house. I didn't want to leave it. As a matter of fact, everybody, my daughter included, son-in-law, said yesterday after the meeting at 7 o'clock last night, please get out, Mom. Nope, I'm staying. So my name is Mrs. Stubborn now.
She's the one that told me that all 3 had been burnt out. I go, what?
Well, she
Just
doesn't
great.
usually pass false information like that, so somebody must have came up and told her that, and she took it
She
for
said
granted.
that she saw the vehicles and Maureen, I guess, was a basket case.
Yeah.
She was crying and carrying on and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's
she
what
says
she told me, too.
Their property is gone.
Yeah.
They're burnt out completely.
Yeah. Well, Pat is not a gossip monger.
Then
I tell
Maureen
you.
got here today and she goes, no, not.
We're talking to a gentleman, I guess he describes himself as the Cajun on the hill, Jerry Gramillion. Good day, sir.
How you doing?
Pat, come on over. We've got his son, Pat, here also, and we were just talking to Jerry a little bit about his experiences yesterday, what happened with the fire coming through here. Give us a little description.
About noon, they started a backfire. It started up over the hill here, and they burned it almost all the way to the road, down by the restaurant down there. And firefighters that did that job were magnificent. I mean, there's just no words to explain it. Every one of them deserve a medal for what they've done up here. It's just outrageous. I mean, they've really done their job.
Timed it just right. We had good winds. They were watching the winds, and when they set the backfire, we were sitting here at Grumpy Bear's, and when it came over the hill, we were standing here, and it just like a freight train. You could hear it. You could hear the roar, and they caught it there at the road, and it did exactly what they wanted it to do. We stopped it there, and
What was it, about 10 o'clock that night, the fire peaked the hill, the original fire, and it stopped it right there dead in its tracks on top of the hill. And to tell you the truth, it was an amazing light show, but they did what they were supposed to do, and they pretty much saved this place doing what they did.
Good, and you know, folks, you're hearing this from people that have actually experienced it. Now, whenever you get a disaster like this, and that's exactly what this is, it's very tragic, a lot of stories come in. As you know, we've been putting out news on the radio, and we get a lot of calls at the station from people who say, well, this is what they heard and that's what they heard. And unfortunately, Pat apparently heard from somebody that the radio station put out the Grumpy Bears had burnt down, so which we didn't put that out. So this is what happens sometimes, but you know, we're getting it right directly from these people that experience
We're
it.
still here, and we're still cooking.
And as a matter of fact, too, this is the one thing we did report on, what we were seeing this Tuesday, we reported on this Saturday morning, is that due to the efforts of the firefighter, and of course Pat is talking about the firefighters, and many, many people that I've talked to have echoed the same thing, that the firefighters here have done an outstanding job.
outstanding, outstanding. I mean, those guys, we can't praise them enough. Those guys. I mean, we've got fire crews in here from Tulare, San Bernardino, Riverside, LA County. They're everywhere, and the effort that they're putting into it is 100%, 110%. They're really trying to do the best that they can do with the resources that they have. The people that are here, the residents and stuff, have been totally supportive. We've been trying to move people, and that's what we've been in here. I've been here since Thursday, and we're going to keep fighting it right to the end.
Right, and of course you've seen it worse here, but I can tell you, this is my first time up here, and as a matter of fact, my first time ever being in this type of a situation, and I can tell you all that the drive up here, I could just feel the little nervousness, and being down in the staging area, it was almost surreal looking at it from out there. And folks, I don't know what you can see on television, but unless you're here and experiencing it, and of course you experienced a lot more.
It's something that I don't think anybody really fathoms how fast a fire can move. I mean, it runs through the mountains. It comes down in about 20 minutes, we looked at 1.5 miles. It ran. And like I said, it was like a freight train. You could hear it. It just roared.
Yesterday, in one day, burned 13,000 acres.
That's right. As a matter of fact, it went from, let's see, that was Thursday. It went from 11,000 to more than doubled in a 24-hour period.
Right now,
more than doubled.
It's about 38,000 acres. And I mean, I don't know, we're just,
so far,
all you can do is wait it out.
All you can do is wait it out. And of course, as far as the fire itself, from what we have heard, it probably will be about 2 weeks before it is out. But this, as I stated before, this is where they're intensifying the efforts right here in the Kennedy Meadows area. And we do have a lot of grateful residents down there. Once again, I want to thank the residents of Ridgecrest, too, for stopping over at KLWA radio station, and probably Grego's as well, and bringing everything was appreciated that was brought up here, even though my little minivan was down to the axle.
Yeah, we've got people bringing, we've sent down orders for food, and we've got food coming up tomorrow to replenish the stuff that we used here, and we're just going to stay here right on the line. We're going to keep feeding and try and take care of business.
Take care of our people. They're taking care of us.
And there you go. See, these folks are helping as well, so that's great. Well, folks, thank you very much. Appreciate talking with you. And we have no idea how we're going to get home right now. The way we came up is closed because they're going to do a backburn. That's what it's called, a backburn. It's either that or go up the Sherman Pass, which is that's a long drive back to Ridgecrest, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to stick it out here for a while. It's about 7:25 right now. The backfire is burning right over in this direction. This, of course, is right down the road that we came up in, and we obviously can't get down there right now. Standing out in front of Grumpy Bears. Hopefully we'll get some information, but you know, folks, as I said before, this is extremely surreal, especially directly behind the camera where you can't see. It looks like you're on a different planet. Have you ever seen these science fiction movies where they have funny colored skies? Well, it's kind of a, I don't know how to describe the color. It's kind of a burnt orange, I guess, and it just looks like that's the way the clouds are. It's quite eerie down here, and you can see the smoke is coming up over in this direction. We had our friends from the Daily Independent were here just a little while ago, and they have got to go to press for tomorrow morning, so they went down the Sherman Pass. So that's quite a long trip for them to get home. But this is really, really quite a scene. We're being escorted out now. It was just a few minutes ago we talked. It's now 10 minutes to 8, and where they did the backburn is where we're being escorted out by the Forest Service. So this...
may or may not get out.
We may or may not get out. It just all depends on what's going to happen. Well, as I said, it's very surreal around here. As a matter of fact, the mountains on the left, that is a very eerie-looking sight out there.
The sun.
Yeah, right. That's the sun shining through the clouds. And okay, now there's a vehicle that's coming in the other direction, too. All right, we're going by a group of firefighters. Like they're all marching in that direction. Now, we're being stopped. No, maybe not.
My camera's not focused. I hear chainsaws.
Hearing chainsaws, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. We have a television crew behind us from Fresno in a rather large truck. Look at the flames on the right, and we're moving along still. Oh, look at the flames up ahead, Mark.
Uh-oh.
Take a look.
Oh, man. Not good.
And we've got somebody coming back and talking to us. It looks, I'm not sure if we're going to have to turn around or not. Artie Colson, Fire Information Officer, is up here. And see what kind of information we're going to get.
Backfiring starting right up here. And it's going to continue right down beside us. So this is the time to get out and get these shots. You're going to turn around and go back right.
Okay, then we have to go back then.
Are you going
No,
back?
we're going
We were hoping to go.
Okay, stay where you are then.
Okay, good. So we can get out and get...
Now, because it won't last long. We got to get out of here fast.
All right, let's get some shots quickly. Well, no, you don't really have to get out. I'm going to stay right here. If I start rolling, Mark, just come after me.
You might want to come out, right?
Okay. Well, this is as far as I'm going. This is about as close as I ever want to get to a forest fire. We're waiting right now. As soon as we get our shots, then we're going to head on down the road because we're going to have to head out to Ridgecrest pretty quick. So we're going to watch for them coming toward their vehicles. And they told all the media folks, if you want to take pictures, this is the time to get out. It's funny, I just can't think of much to say in this type of situation. Never having experienced it. Look at the embers. There are embers up there flying around. This is amazing. And we have firefighters on the other side of the road. They're all lined up so many feet apart with all of their equipment, just waiting, apparently, for it to be approaching this area. Mark, why don't we talk to the firefighter over here? Still a little dark out here, and it's going to be dark for a while. We're waiting to get the go-ahead to go down the road. But in the meantime, we have a lot of firefighters that are along the road, and we're talking to Callie right now. Callie, how long have you been here?
We've been here since Friday.
Since Friday. Okay, and what are you waiting for? You're standing here for a particular purpose.
Right, well, they're starting to burn this off right up here, and we don't want it to jump the line, so we're watching for any embers that fly over into the green in case it starts this over here on fire.
So you're going to wait until it's blowing over?
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't.
And catch the embers.
Right.
Okay, well, good luck to you, Callie. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Looks like it's farther away on video than it is. It's right to the road.
It's very close to us right now, yes. While we're sitting here waiting, we're going to be going pretty quick. Doug Luke of United Rentals is here, and he's apparently, you're right behind us, Doug, huh?
I'm about 3 behind you waiting to get through the Smoky Canyon here.
Well, I'll tell you what, eat my dust or smoke, whatever that may be. And it looks like it's going to be pretty smoky through here. Artie Colson just told us to leave our either air conditioning off or leave it circulating inside and all windows up.
You see this
Matter.
right over here to your right?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Did you get it? It's coming around us. I hope we get out of here.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hope we do too.
They're doing it.
Well, meantime.
It jumped up here, and they're trying to clear it out so we can get through.
Looks like we're just about ready to go.
Okay,
All right. All right, we'll see you
Okay,
later,
guys, good
Doug.
luck.
Thank you. We are right up on the fire, right on the fire line.
Videography, fire. Yeah, I can keep trying to focus.
You're hearing Mark complaining a lot about the camera. You're doing okay, Mark. Just keep on going. Look at this up here. We have it also on the other side of the road too. So we're going right in between the fires. If you look,
About a couple miles outside of Grumpy Bears.
we're a little less than that, I would say.
Yeah, less than that. Heading
Probably about a mile.
toward Ridgecrest.
We have over here trees that are still just glowing. Now, I don't know why those just aren't going up fast. You know, there's been so little rain up here, Mark, that
Yeah.
it's a very dry area, and everything here is very, very dry.
The treetops are still amber. Well, we came through here a couple hours ago. None of this was burned.
No, none of this was burned when we came through here. Now it's burnt. That's a problem with the wind blowing and all that. It blows the embers, and wherever the embers land, that fire is starting.
Boy, it's really is smoky. Look at all that.
While we're looking at all this, and we were just briefly talking to Doug Luke with United Rentals. He's just about 3 vehicles behind us right now. And Doug Luke has been a very, very big help to us. Of course, you know, Doug is one of those folks that volunteers a lot for our community, Mark, you know that.
Definitely got to cross the road here.
As we're going along here real quick, and we're going to close out the show after a bit, but as we're going along the road, I don't have the list of people right now, but I do want to mention some that I did not mention in the first part of the show that have helped us out. Tammy over at Arco AM/PM brought over 10 prepaid gas cards for folks to use that were hauling water and supplies up here to Kennedy Meadows. We want to thank her very, very much. And after, by the way, after you saw the pile of stuff in there, that pile quadrupled in size in a matter of 3 hours. People coming into the radio station and leaving it. Now look at this. We're coming up into, oh, this is something. You know what this reminds me of? Christmas light display or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it reminds me of.
And that tree is just glowing over there. Oh, this turns out. Amazing how fast it's burning. There was nothing wrong when we came through.
No, not a thing. You know, I'm glad we're being escorted. If we were by ourselves right now, I would not be very, very calm. As it is, it's a little nerve-wracking. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen. But they seem to know what they're doing. You've got to really hand it to these firefighters, all the fire personnel. You know, look up straight ahead. There's some flames going up the mountain. We're really coming into some real heavy smoke. You can see from the headlights. There, you see the embers coming down? There's one ember's coming down from that tree.
Yeah. Way up there.
Oh, gosh, almost looks like we're going directly into an inferno.
Not out of the woods yet.
We're not out of the woods yet. Yeah, well, that's about it. We're not out of the woods yet. Okay, well, we didn't make it. We went down so far, and the fire safety officer would not let the group go any farther, so we had to go down and find a place to turn around and come back. In the meantime, we had quite a bit of fire. We're heading right up. We're getting fairly near Grumpy Bear right now. We're going to continue on down to Sherman Pass and then get on home. That is going to close it out for us tonight, and while this is very interesting to see, I really, Mark, think that I've covered my first and last forest fire at the scene while it's happening. I think I'll stick to radio on these things. But again, I want to thank everybody who's helped on this, Doug, Luke, and the whole list of people, which obviously I can't read a list in front of me right now, but we'll be talking about it this week on KLOA and also KRAJ. That does it for us tonight. Stay careful. Good night.